Aloha, good morning, and welcome to another Secret Art of Huna Facebook Live. And today I'm going to be talking about beliefs and judgments, how they can be useful to us and how they can be really not very useful to us, how to know the difference and how to make the not useful ones useful. So, why is it that beliefs and judgments can be important to understand? And the first thing is that a lot of our beliefs and judgments are self-reinforcing. Whatever you believe, you get to be right. It gets to be true. However you judge yourself or judge other people, you get to be right. It gets to be true. Because we are psychologically set up, neurologically set up to sort for what we already know. So there's a little piece of our brain called your RAS, your reticular activating system. And it's like a radar, and it's permanently going whoop, 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 whoop. And it's looking for evidence to support your beliefs and your judgments. So if you believe that you're not good enough, for example, your little RAS will go out and it'll look for evidence that you're not good enough. And it'll conveniently ignore all the bits of evidence that prove that you are good enough. If you believe that all white men of a certain age are bigots, your ass will do the same thing. It will go out and it'll look for evidence that all white men of a certain age are bigots, and it'll find that evidence and it'll ignore the rest. And the problem with that is that while sometimes some of your judgments may be true, some of your beliefs may be genuinely true, a lot of the time, because we ignore evidence to the contrary of what we believe, then we lose sight of other realities, other possibilities, other people's model of the world, and we lose opportunities for our own growth and learning. And that seems to me rather sad. Hi, Tamoy. That seems to me rather unfortunate. So what can we do about this? Well, I found it really interesting that the reason that I came up with this post was that I saw a post in a women's group that I'm in on Facebook, and this woman had posted something that was really quite controversial. Now, the post had a picture of her, and she had this most amazing piece of jewelry around her neck. Now, I love jewelry. Those of you who know me well will know that I like funky jewelry. So I noticed the jewelry, saw the face, noticed the jewelry, read the top of the post. First few lines of the post were really in your face, quite controversial. If I can find them, I'll just read them to you. Yeah, here we go. Visionary, sexy 5-figure coaching versus responsive, dull 4-figure coaching, and the energetic pulse behind charging 5 figures, no matter what kind of coach you are. If you're laboring under a belief that because you're a love coach or a mother coach or whatever fuck coach, you're not able to charge 5 figures for your package because business coaching is the only way to do that, I'm here to challenge you into your higher belief, because no. And then she goes on and talks about what she wants to talk about. And the first few lines had me thinking, hang on, lady, this is a bit in your face. And I wasn't going to read on, but I decided I would. And reading on, she was making some really interesting points about spirituality, points about our attitudes, and points about disruption and the importance of a coach being disruptive. And I thought, wow, this is good stuff. At the end of the post, she remarked that the photo of her was of her topless on a Greek island, and that's why she'd taken it. Well, hi, David. The responses to this, it got people going. It triggered people. It triggered a lot of women in the group. And I'm going to show you, you'll see it in reverse, but I'm going to show you the photo because if I can, oh, I can't. No, it's gone. But anyway, basically, yeah, it was a topless photo with the jewelry and little hearts over the nipples because Facebook doesn't like nudity. The picture wound people up. The fact that she was talking about 5-figure packages wound people up. Now, me, I hadn't even noticed she was topless. And the reason I hadn't even noticed that she was topless was because I was entranced with the jewelry. I was sorting for what interested me. I was sorting for the jewelry. I just thought, great jewelry. And because I was willing to overlook my judgments about her initial statements, I was able to read on, and I was able to learn something and engage mentally in a discussion that was interesting about the power of disruption in coaching, which, had I stuck with my initial judgment, I wouldn't have been able to do. And that was what really prompted this post, because so much of the time, that's what we do. We get completely fixated on the bit that interests us, the bit that seems relevant, and we ignore the rest. There's a story told about Gandhi that when he came to the UK one time, he was basically wandering around the streets of London in a loincloth. Now, if you'd been there at that time and you hadn't known that was Gandhi, and you had judgment about a poor old man in a loincloth and why aren't his carers doing something about it, you would have completely missed the fact that you were witnessing one of the greatest international political figures walking down the street in front of you, just because of your judgments. A client of mine, she's got a great thing going down in Frome, the I Know campaign. And what she's doing is encouraging parents to support other parents. You know, you go in the supermarket, you're in a hurry, there's a woman in there, her kid's kicked off, it's all over the place, she's at the till, she can't find her purse, she can't find her credit card, you're in the queue behind her, and the instinctive thing is just go, oh, for fuck's sake. And what she's encouraging people to do is to go, no, I know, I get it, I understand. Suspend judgment about the way the child is behaving, because I'm not a parent, but I know just about every parent I know has had those experiences where public place, child kicks off, embarrassment, shame, stress. So when we suspend our judgments, very often we become much kinder, we become much more loving towards others, and we become much more loving towards ourselves. And because if you believe you're not good enough, you're going to sort for evidence that you're not good enough. It makes us kinder towards ourselves. It makes us more loving towards ourselves. So how can you be kinder towards yourself? How can you check your judgments and use them in a more healthy way? Check your beliefs and use them in a more healthy way. The beliefs, if you have a belief about yourself that you're not good enough, do a release process. I teach Hawai and Huna. One of the processes I teach is higher self therapy, or ho'oku. It's a great fast release process for releasing those beliefs that we have ourselves that probably aren't true anymore. They may have been true when we first believed them. They probably aren't true anymore. The belief that I'm not lovable, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not clever enough, or I don't have enough qualifications. That was one for me. I've got 5 or possibly 6 degrees. I kind of lose count, but I always used to tell myself that I didn't have enough qualifications. So I kept going on and getting them. Didn't change much. I just learnt a lot, but I didn't have enough qualifications. So whatever it is, those beliefs, I'm not intelligent enough. That's another one. You can release those pretty quickly. You can also, with judgments, if you've got judgments about people, you can use that to check in with yourself. Because one of the problems about judgments is when you make a judgment about another person, your unconscious mind, at an unconscious level, what you're doing is telling yourself that this kind of person is wrong, that this kind of person is not the kind of person that you want to be. So say, for example, you see an extraordinarily fat person wandering down the street, they're sweating profusely, they're breathing really with difficulty. That's me too. And you look at them and you go, so fat, really, why don't they do something about it? That's just awful. It's awful to be so fat. At an unconscious level, what you're saying to yourself is, it's awful to be fat. Now, if you happen to be having weight problems and you are unconsciously running this judgment, it's awful to be fat, you're going to judge that for yourself as well as for the people that you see out there. So when you find yourself making a judgment about somebody that you see out there, then just check in with yourself. When I make that judgment about that person, they're too fat, they're too ugly, they're too stupid. Where am I making that judgment about me? Where do I believe that about me? And then you can let go of it. Because all this is about awareness. It's about using the world as our barometer. Whatever you see out there in the world is a barometer for what's going on inside you. If you have a belief that the world is a great place and everything will be well, then that's the experience you'll tend to manifest for yourself. But if you believe that the world is a shit place and it's too difficult, it's too hard, and you're not lucky and you're never going to have luck, that's the kind of experience you're going to have, that you're going to attract to yourself. So when you change your beliefs, when you change your judgments, when you change your willingness to stop and listen, then you potentially change everything for yourself. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to this little Facebook Live. If you've got any comments, do put them in the comment box. I'd love to see them. And let's have a discussion about it. Ladies, there's the Facebook group, Secret Art of Huna Live, and I'm starting a new thing, the Secret Art of Huna Pioneers Club, where I'll actually be supporting people going through the release processes like Ho'oku'u and other things. And there's always the website, the Secret Art, https://secretartofhuna.com. And I look forward to seeing you in one of those. Bye now. Have a good Saturday.